Okay, take your pants off. I heard about the furry acorn.
Oh, dude, it's not good.
Everybody come out to Vulcan tonight. John's is going to have his penis out.
Yeah.
It's going to be beautiful.
Hey, it's the God Awful Gospel Hour, and our guest is Jon Stringer.
God awful. God awful. God awful.
Everyone have on their participants to be participants.
I'm in.
That's what I do when I make the children get in the car. Everyone
Oh.
put on your participants.
And it works? No one's creeped?
They're all creeped out by me.
I operate right there.
I tried to do a video game stream with my son yesterday.
Yeah.
Playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I was like, I can't put this anywhere. I'm not allowed. As an adult, you can't make dick jokes with a 10-year-old, even if
No.
it's your 10-year-old.
Are we recording already?
Oh, yeah, we're.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then I'll leave that this story. Okay. I said something while we were recording, and there were kids in the room, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, there are kids in the room." And then the podcast was like, "Well, don't mention that,"
Yeah.
because we were going wild.
My kids don't give a fuck. They're crazy. I make them
it's
mean.
crazy.
I want them to
You've
be
got
mean.
2 full-grown
Yeah.
humans in your. That's
Fucking
wild.
expensive. No more kids menu. No, nothing cheap.
No, everybody loves kids
My
until
daughter
they
wants
have a few drinks and the spouse leaves the room, and then they're like, "Don't ever fucking have kids."
That's
That's
why
who I listen to.
I have family members that took the whole Louis C.K. calling your kid an asshole thing to heart, and they just call their kids assholes all the time now.
Yeah. Okay.
They're like, yeah, stupid little shit, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, my kids are assholes. Don't tell them they're cute, you know.
I want to make America great again, but I want to make America 1800s Europe again, where children are to be seen and not heard, and they have to stand up straight and like clasp their hands and sing a song before bed. It's time for you to sing a song for the adults.
Are you familiar with the what a disappointment room is?
Nice. No.
You ever heard of it? In Victorian times, and even before that, if you had a kid with an oddity, a learning disability, or whatever.
Oh yeah, if they were like a Rosalind Kennedy or whatever.
If they were at all a blemish on the family name,
right,
they'd build special houses up in the attic or down in the basement, and often concealed, like you wouldn't know those rooms were there.
That's
like
where Anne Frank jerked off for 3 years during the war.
You think she
the attic?
jerked off?
Her diary is about masturbating.
I've not read her diary. All
a
right.
little bit in the uncut version of her diary.
Yeah, the
That's
NR
super fun.
not-rated version.
Right. Yeah. So the version that you read when you're in like 7th grade, you know, you study Anne Frank and all that. It's the abridged version for the Texas schools,
father.
obviously for us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's little parts that were edited out, like about her figuring out how her body works and thinking, hey, I might like chicks and stuff. There's a lot of that in the original Anne Frank diary.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Just like, I'm not even worried about Nazis. I'm going to jerk off and think about lesbian stuff.
Texas makes mistakes like editing and canceling a lot of our books, but then they make great choices like offering us 2 chocolate milks at every single meal that we sit down to. I remember for all of elementary, most of junior high, I was having 4 chocolate milks a day.
Yeah.
So why is Texas obese?
Right.
Exactly.
All the mandatory Pepsi.
Yeah, and that shoebox rectangle-sized slice of pizza.
When I was in middle school, they introduced Taco Bell and Pizza Hut to our cafeteria.
Yeah, we had a KFC.
Did y'all have that too?
And something else. KFC.
So in your school district, did they try to change the milk cartons to bags?
No.
Okay, so we had that.
Is this Mexico?
They turned these little bags and you stick. It was almost like a formless
Like a Capri Sun.
Capri Sun,
A bladder
where you
of milk?
stick a straw into it and then you drink the milk out of the bladder. Yeah, it's like a bladder.
Great.
I guess it was to try and reduce waste, but they were made out of plastic, so it just made things just as bad, right?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the cartons were probably better because they were made out of paper. You know, the old school milk cartons.
Yeah.
But that's Texas.
Isn't that why so many people have micro penises now? Because of the microplastics in the food?
Right.
Whatever makes you feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
It
I
blocks
got to
the
blame
growth hormone.
someone else.
Yeah, microplastics.
So this is the OG Cedar Door crew. We worked, us 3 together 10 years ago on a open mic on
Wide
2nd
open.
and Lavaca downtown, the wide open mic. Donnie filled in for me when I wasn't there and for John when he wasn't there and helped organize stuff.
I had the highest highs and the lowest lows at those open mics, yeah.
And that was one of the better ones.
Were you there when the
Yeah.
guy was on acid and like fell down and started screaming at the ceiling?
No.
He was just lying on his back with the. I think it was one of the nights that you weren't there and you filled in. This guy was like, "I don't think I'm ready with my 3 minutes," and I was like, "Just do whatever, man. It doesn't matter. Or if you don't want to go up, you don't have to go up." And he's like, "No, I'm good. I just had some shrimps," and I was like, "That's great. That's variety. This is a variety show. Let's see what happens." And he started talking about reality and what's real, and then fell on his back and started screaming at the ceiling, kicking his legs like a baby. And then I had
lit
to,
him. He made sure to acknowledge that you.
Get the fuck out.
No, I get it. And thank you guys.
And then I had to go up between everybody, of course, and I was like, he's going to come back again and close the show. We'll see how he's doing.
Hey, keep it going for our middling headliner.
So you've been touring since then for 10 years.
Yeah.
Solid decade of touring
Wild.
all over the world.
And I won't call it touring unless it's a tour, because
Okay.
what it is it's a small
Road
business.
dogging it.
Yeah, honest to God. I think that's where a lot of artists kind of trip themselves up, is they fail to make that connection between what you offer and then making yourself hireable in a simple, repeatable process. So the whole small business concept took me, honestly, until I met Joanna, to kind of understand, like, if this audience loved your show, how easy are you to locate and hire?
Yeah.
And I was like, if they found a clip of yours, would they like that clip? Do you have any decent headshots? Not really.
Yeah.
And it was just and also the dollars making sense thing. As comics, we will take a gig no matter how far. We're not really worried about what the pay is, because in the beginning it was just exciting. Someone's like, "Hey, come out here, $150 for 30 minutes." I'm there. I didn't really take into account I'm driving to Oklahoma for this gig. I would just put it up on social media, and it gave me what I thought was clout, or shit, he's getting booked out of state.
Yeah.
But my wife, I would tell her, "Hey, I got this gig up in Worms, Nebraska for $225, and then I've got this $400 gig that's in Grand Forks," and then she's like, "Okay, let me look that up. Okay, that's a 28-hour drive, and is that second one doesn't have a hotel? Okay, yeah. Well, then you shouldn't take that gig." And I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "Well,
Because I have to eat ramen.
yeah, you're
I
gonna
just
lose
stay
a
home
couple
and eat
$100
Yeah,
if you."
would-
Yeah.
You want to go around the corner and pay to go get on stage? You know, that's
Yep.
kind of what you're doing.
That's right.
Every woman's
I'm-
dream. Get to tell your husband where to go and what to do all the time. It's like a trucker wife that wants to be dispatch.
She's a secret power.
Yeah.
No, honestly, because I said this on a podcast day before yesterday, but the anxiety that goes through my body when someone is waiting on an invoice, a contract, general, like a clip, EPK.
You don't want to be in anybody's pocket.
Yeah, it's like I'm this close to booking a good paying gig, and it's like, yeah, if you could send us this, and then my body is like, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that in a timely manner.
Excuse me, I'm talent.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
not
yeah.
a talent.
Let me just show up and show you what I do.
That's
But
not
my
one of my
wife would
talents.
just be like, print, sign, scan. Was that so hard? And I'm like,
Nice.
it didn't look hard when you did it. I'm exasperated.
I'm exhausted
stressed.
watching
Ugh.
you.
It's a
Ugh.
lot, yeah. Just put me on a stage. Tell me how I should dress.
So yeah, for like 10 years, I've basically watched. I'm like, oh, John's on a cruise ship.
That's
Like, there's been a lot of those, right?
Yeah.
So what's that like? What's cruise ship comedy
I
like?
avoided it for 2 or 3 years. It was presented to me by a comedian, and he was like, "You'd be great on ships. The money's awesome.
Yeah.
They cover all of your expenses." And I was like, I'd be interested in that. But in my head, I was like, that's where comedians go to die. You know what I mean? Like, cruise ships is where you wrap up your career.
Yeah, it's like
Vegas.
Sugar Ray is doing cruises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I could not have been more wrong.
Really?
Yes, there are instances of people that catch on to cruises on their way down.
yeah.
But 9 out of 10 times I find it's people that are currently hitting their hot streak. So I've been on ships with people that are writing for X amount of
Yeah, there's a
sitcoms.
Skanks
They're
cruise now, and there's an
acting
Eric
on
Andre
sitcom.
cruise right now. There's a
What's
lot of.
that?
There's an Eric Andre cruise right now, and there's a Skanks Fest cruise right now.
That's funny.
And there's a Sebastian Maniscalco did one for his show.
Oh, badass.
There's people doing that's valid. I mean, it's a captive audience.
They're actually captive. And with comics at our level, I'm not a name. And there are pockets in America where I have a good fan base. And if I say, hey, I'm coming, I'll get a nice crowd there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's rare. So I am no name, but I'm consistently good at comedy. But on cruise ships, they don't know that you're not a big deal. I know I'm not. They don't know I'm not.
Yeah.
And so the way that you're presented is
You're
like,
Elvis.
welcome to the stage. You've seen them on Netflix or iHeartRadio, heard them on iHeartRadio. Welcome to the stage. And to them, it's a 1,200 seat theater, packed shoulder to shoulder. And what a great way to present entertainment. And so at my level, I don't get 1,200 seat theaters that are sold out. So they're fantastic to learn and prepare for that next step of what that might look like if I start working theater circuits on land.
And also, there's probably at least, there could be 10 or 15 people that are like, that guy was really funny. I'm going to look him up.
Oh,
I'm going to follow him. I'm going to see, hey, maybe if he comes to my town, I'll come see him.
Yep.
So that's a great way to get an audience.
My fan
right?
base grows immensely when I'm out there because, as I said before, they are captive, and that's a good and bad thing. I've never been interested in fame. That doesn't interest me at all. But the ships are my first experience of what that might be like.
Right.
Because if I have a great show, everybody on the ship, I am stuck with my audience for the week or 10
They see you in the
days,
hall.
and I have the same
see you on the deck,
15-second conversation with every guest.
They ask you to say something funny. Say something funny.
Yes, all of them. But if I bomb, I'm also stuck with that audience all week.
Yeah, but you're not an indie cunt. You can say something funny. You're the kind of guy that
100%. I entertain a room, but
yeah.
I still bomb shows on land. Rarely do I have a show that I'd consider bombing.
Yeah.
One a year. I'm not. That's just what it is. I do well. Comedy clubs, you know what you're signing up for. You showed up for this. Most people come with the right attitude. Ships, you're one of a dozen options, and people will stand up in the middle of your second joke and walk out.
This
They'll
guy
walk that
or
long.
backgammon.
Yeah.
Right.
It's hard. They might have dinner reservations. They may just want to go gamble, stare at breasts. You never know. So I'm competing with a lot, but bad shows are the worst because if I bomb a show, like if I bomb tonight, I'm in my car 15 minutes later, crying my fears and all of my pain right out of my body. I can get to a kitchen and eat my feelings soon, but when you're stuck on the ship and you sucked the night before, they look at you like you owe each and every one of them an apology.
You don't get to go to the pool anymore that day.
I just don't. You're scarce.
Have you been on any of those huge ones that are like a Metroplex with like
Yeah.
8 slides and like a whole
Go-kart
skyscraper
tracks
worth
on the
of- wow.
top.
Go-kart tracks, really?
Ropes
Wow.
courses.
Is that
and
pool?
Golf,
Pool tables?
Golf, not golf courses, but putt-putt courses on
That's
both ends.
ridiculous. It's not
It's-
level.
It's awesome.
Can you imagine one of those in the zombie apocalypse?
Dude, all I
Perfect.
want is a
Perfect.
really good zombie cruise ship movie.
Bring
Yeah.
your family.
Because there's nowhere to go, and then you know that you wouldn't be allowed to come to shore.
Right.
You can save your whole family, have a helicopter, get
Yeah,
everybody.
luckily
guns,
there are a
mount guns.
shitload of like really stable metal locking doors, like boom, like they lock in.
Airlocks.
But you could also, you could be locked in with flesh eaters and brain eaters.
Well, that's another video game idea, dude. Like
Dude.
a zombie game, but you're in a cruise ship and you have to
Zombie
like get through
family
the cruise
cruise.
ship. Yeah. that's a
You have
cool
to
idea.
like do little tasks and learn how to lower tender boats and get yourself to safety.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
So you've been around Texas a ton. Do you think you could quantify or qualify what your favorite city in Texas is at this point? You spend enough time in these places where you
To perform or just to
you
be?
like your town where you live a lot, sounds like.
Yeah, and I like wherever I'm at. I don't like if I was just to name some of my favorite cities in North America. That's much easier than saying what's your favorite city in Texas because they all bring something to the table. But if we're talking about like which places have the best comedy crowds, it's hard to argue against like Corpus Christi,
Yeah.
Dallas Fort Worth area. Those are places where if you really push, like I still don't adhere to PC culture, and I don't really feel like PC culture has affected comedy in ways that bring it down.
Everyone that got canceled did
It's
an
just,
Obi-Wan.
it's just
and
giving
came back
people
stronger.
something to talk about
Yeah,
a lot.
remove
It's
the
an easy thing to talk about.
Yeah, let's remove
Yeah.
like race and hate speech. And if that bothers you, if that limits your writing, then maybe comedy isn't for you. But everything else I've just said, I'm right on schedule saying everything I've said and more that is offensive and could get me canceled and blah blah blah. And I've had no blowback. So I think it's a myth.
Anthony Jeselnik.
Oh yeah.
He's kind of done the same thing. He's like, I still say the same thing I was saying 10 years ago, and it's really dark and really bad.
Yeah.
If you just take all context out of it, there's just there's a way that you can do this.
Yes.
Where and to some people that is like threading a needle, right? That is really
Yeah.
kind of a hard thing to do for some people.
Definitely.
But for other people, you can walk that fine line. You can, as long
he
as
gets
it's
to say
yeah.
anything.
Right, as long as the
Because
vibe is right?
His name is the reason the seats are full.
Right.
I have a lot of I've said this since the beginning, but new comics, they want to come out of the gates telling jokes with the same heat and emotion
Yeah.
attached to it as Richard Pryor,
Yeah.
Robin Williams.
Everybody wants to say something.
Yeah.
Yes, but you haven't earned it yet. I know it's your therapy, and you do what you want to with your art. This is your journey. Write and say whatever you want. But if you want to succeed, if you'd like to get out of the starting blocks, you're going to have to master the art of taking what's funny to you and translating it for the most people possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day, if you develop a following and you have a room where you are the reason they're there, you can talk about wiping poop out of your daughter's vagina like Louis C.K. Like, there's some really tough jokes, but you hear people try jokes that are equally edgy every night at an open mic, and it's met with silence, shock, and awe. And I'm like, yeah, because
You're not Louis C. You are not the guy.
you
that
just
guy yet. Yeah.
yes,
It
Yeah.
depends on the platform. You can't make tiny Chinese penis jokes on TikTok. They'll remove you. Trust me.
I'll trust
I'm
you.
on my 4th warning. I have one more warning, but they won't give me the final warning because I do enough on there, and they want everybody to be on there.
Do you have to attach a race? Or
No, well, there's an accent,
Well-
so yeah.
okay, all right. The
I mean,
accent's
Do
probably
a sword. It's a sword fighting samurai game joke.
And I think we were also talking about the CCP when we were doing it, so
they
that
don't-
might
they
be
don't
more.
like any of If it's their platform, they
Yeah.
can get rid of you if you talk. You can't make Jew jokes in Hollywood either. They don't like that very much.
That's funny.
So you're more beard now than face than you
Yeah,
used to
dude.
be.
Let's
There's a whole
hide
nother Jon Stringer hanging off the
Yeah.
bottom.
White people, we age like nutsacks,
Yeah.
don't we? Our skin just gives up.
You gotta
And,
hide those chins.
I'm hiding everything if I can. My wife's attracted to it, so I really have no say in how I look.
Do you get underneath? Do you use a party hat for the rubber band to get the line? There you go.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm decently edged up right now. I'll be clean for tonight's show, but yeah, no, I very much look exactly my age, which I don't care. I think my favorite stage of like a dog or cat's life is when their face starts to gray out.
Uh-huh.
I
Oh
think
yeah,
that is the
like right, the
sweetest-
whiskers
yeah.
around the mouth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I want to be greeted with head and ear scratches.
Yeah.
Like, I'm old and gray now, and I walk up with a smile. Just scratch my ear, please.
Your beard is what I call the Dallas Keuchel. So it's like a sports guy. He was a pitcher for the Astros like 5 years ago or so,
Was he known as the beard or no?
and he basically had the most symmetrical edge.
It looked like a
cut
Yeah.
feed bag.
You look like Solomon.
Yeah,
That's
Should
funny.
be one on the Pharisees in the Christmas play.
yeah.
They
I would
got
do
to judge Jesus. Crucify him. And you guys did the hashtag van life before it was cool and murdery. You lived in a
We tried.
thing, yeah. For
We
how
tried.
long was that?
So you might not know this, but basically we got married immediately the next day, jumped in a car, drove to Las Vegas. We bought a 1984 Holiday Rambler XL motorhome, so it was a drivable 30-footer. Gutted it and put new walls, new insulation, new subfloor, new tanks, new electricity, new plumbing, and then I basically ran out of time and money, and we were like way in. Like, we bought it real cheap. We might have bought it for $3 or $4 grand, and then we put 16 grand into it.
Yeah.
And that's just when it sat for a year. And so I sold it to a guy that turned it into a mobile guitar store.
Nice.
He'd drive it to music festivals and sell
cool.
rare
that's cool.
and vintage guitars and set
a
it
good
up.
idea.
So
You
don't have to
it
have
was
fridge, you don't
it
have
was
to do
before I
food.
started putting in all the home decor. Right, it was a perfectly brand new empty box. The engine, transmission, everything was tip top, ready to rock. And he was like, "Yeah, I'd like to do this." And I'm like, "I'd like to help you realize that dream." Yeah, I
gotta get rid of this thing.
No, I lost so much money. I think I sold it for $5 grand, so
Yeah.
probably lost 15 grand in that. But then we bought an RV, a trailer one, lived in that for a year, a 24-footer, or 28, 24 to I think it was a 24-footer, and we had 4 dogs. And a
Jesus.
24.
That sounds fun. Yeah.
It was like literally stepping over just to get to our bed. to
How
get
long
to
was
the
that?
couch.
How long did you? Were y'all
A
doing
year,
that?
a year of
yeah.
that. But I
Yeah.
loved it. Absolutely. We went from minimalist, unfortunately, to maximalist.
And how did it affect comedy in other cities? You drove around, that you living in there and going on different dates? I mean, you don't have to worry about hotel,
Yeah,
right?
that was the idea. That was
Yeah.
the idea behind the motorhome. But the trailer was one of those things where like we have to get a 3/4 or 1 ton vehicle to tow it
Yeah.
appropriately, and something that would also house our animals safely. And it all sounded like a better idea in practice, but then in actually doing it, getting 6 miles a gallon,
Yeah, that's a problem.
driving out to Las Vegas for a week, and I'm just like, well, there goes all of my profits. So
Yeah.
let's just park this motherfucker, and then we ended up selling that for more than we bought it for after
good.
keeping it for a couple of years, and rented for 3 years in Fort Worth, and decided it's time to buy. Because you know what you need to know to make like quick changes is a shitty neighbor. If you have a shitty neighbor,
Yeah.
it makes you get your life together. It's like if you have a shitty roommate, you're
Yeah.
like, I got to do something to never put myself in that position again. And so it was very personal to me. We had just this awful white trash drug addict. I hope he's doing better now. But he was just the worst. He had the
Yeah.
worst animals. Like, he didn't love his animals. His animals were great, but they were like viciously barking, snarling, digging at the gate while we're out there. And I'm like, let's all go inside. That's fucking wild. So, yeah, we bought that. We were looking in Wichita, but shit got way expensive at the time. So we found that church for less than half of what we were looking to spend on a house.
That's one of my favorite things that you did was I see church signs for lease. When I first moved here, I had a job where I'd driving around all day,
Yeah.
and you would see more and more churches putting up a for lease sign. All growing up there, like the rock and roll is the devil. The devil's going to kill Christians, and there's not going to be any churches. And then I come to the live music capital of the world, and I'm like, some of these churches are being turned into live music venues. I think the devil won.
Airbnbs.
I think
and-
Satan destroyed the churches and turned them into
Yep.
rock venues because
Yep.
they're good acoustics.
Yep.
And there's just churches
And
for lease everywhere. 'Cause
They're
it's a
built. You can imagine the money, effort, time that goes into building these structures because they're meant to be that rock for their congregation for decades and decades and decades.
Right.
So when it comes time to do the roof, they do the roof top notch. They don't half-ass it. They hire the team. If there's a plumbing issue, they do the plumbing. If it needs it, then the church has a way of having the money. They raise the money. They go all out. They don't do cheap fixes. So our church was in amazing condition.
You don't
And
hear about a lot of churches with like a bad mold problem.
no.
Yeah.
It's people are in it all the time,
Yeah.
keeping a close eye on
just
it.
had
The
a lot of-
mechanics, or not the mechanic, the architects and general contractors that work on these buildings typically have the relationship with that building for the life of the building.
Right.
So it's like,
churches mostly have an attendance problem because you can't preach, "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's manservant" in 2000s. Nobody has any manservants anymore or is coveting them.
And
It's
there-
white people problems.
There's
I'll
so much.
covet one.
There's so much awesome stuff in the Bible. I love reading the Bible.
The Tower of Babel was they said if that ever happens again, you're familiar with the Tower of Babel?
Yeah.
You're King Solomon.
this is where the different languages came from.
Right.
Yeah, and then the Lord said if they ever do that again, I'm going to destroy the world. And we've done it again with the internet, and the internet is destroying the world. So
Yep.
it's kind of taking care of itself.
Yeah.
I'm loving the theory. Don't you feel just in everything that we discover in all of these ancient civilizations that not only have we been here before, but we've surpassed this technology
Yeah.
by building permanent structures that can last 200,000
Yeah.
years and whatnot. So I'm just assuming we're turning the corner towards the beginning, like AI and all that. And it's every movie that we've been watching since the mid 80s till now. And it's like, oh, no, it's going to happen.
we
It's
could
really unfolding. We warned ourselves and walked straight into it.
We could all be in big trouble with the Lord, or there could be nothing, which
Yeah,
is the
yeah,
simplest
yeah.
explanation.
I assume there's nothing, but
Yeah.
I don't want to offend anyone on your podcast.
No, your thing with alcohol, you've seen it ruin too many lives, so you don't
Right.
participate. That's me
Precisely.
with religion. I've
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
it
yeah.
ruin too many people.
Right.
I've lost 2 people recently from going crazy over this stuff.
Yeah,
And I've seen it ruined, so I'm not going to participate.
I'm with you.
But my nice way of saying, it's probably not real is that I'm not mentally capable to handle interdimensional communication
Okay.
as much as maybe you are, Professor X, to any pastors or people that think
Yeah.
they're speaking with the Lord. I'm going to leave that part out. I'm just saying I'm so weak that I can't handle talking to ghosts and stuff like you do. So that's good for you if you guys like to dance around in those areas.
Yeah.
But I must be something wrong with me. I'm sure it's my fault.
If
But
you gotta
I'm-
have a quiet whisper conversation with the ghost before you sleep,
Yeah.
that's fine. Just leave me out.
Let
of
me just
it.
do a little quick seance real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
If you like old men to watch you masturbate, you should hang out with Kevin Spacey or something. I was told there would be boys on this show, and this boys show has no boys on it.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. We're back. So you're playing Vulcan Gas Company tonight.
Yes.
Last time the God Awful Gospel Hour went and saw somebody at Vulcan Gas Company, they got Me Too'd like 3 weeks later. So you got to break our bad luck streak.
So
Who was it?
Andrew Callahan, Channel 5 guy, all gas, no brakes.
No, don't know him. But
He's funny.
So it's a YouTube channel who he started off. It started off being called All Gas No Brakes, and this is like probably like after Trump gets elected, right? He goes to, well, first of all, he goes to like crazy, weird, like anime sci-fi conventions or adult video awards or whatever, and just kind of interviews people. And then he starts going to like Trump things and all that, and he just kind of becomes this
It's like a one-man Vice.
cultural.
Kind of.
Is very Vice-ish. And then he switched over to the Channel 5. And he was getting really, really big. And he was about to have a HBO documentary. So he took his show on the road, and they kind of had like a sort of a comedy, but kind of variety show, or just like a bunch of YouTube guys like just trying to do a live show thing.
yeah.
This Place Rules was the name of the documentary that he had on HBO. And it pretty much premieres on HBO. And then women come forward. And it was kind of, you know what they call sex pest behavior. It was a lot of that kind of.
She said
thing.
no a bunch of times, then said yes, and he went home with her. But then she did an allegations video of herself with a ring light and her full makeup, and started with, "I can't believe I'm having to say this. I've been tearing me up inside forever." And she was like Halle Berry accepting an award. Like she was doing
Yeah.
it for everybody, and it was like, why did you get all ready to make a fancy video of yourself accusing this guy right now, right at the
Why
HBO
not look
thing?
good?
Yeah.
Why not look good?
Yeah.
We should all try a little.
I know. Well, you coming out? You might as
I mean,
well show
yeah,
your nice
if you're
face.
about to be famous, you might as well, right? But she, so it was one of those like somebody accused, and it kind of started getting around, and then like, 3 or 4 more came out saying, he did this, and then he said, yeah, I did all that stuff, and he's gone. Like it ended All Gas No Brakes, and it ended Channel 5.
His career
yeah.
is a tumbleweed.
But
Yeah.
Vulcan has a bunch of T-shirts up that say like "No PC," whatever kind of. It was Rogan's place for Kill Tony before at the.
Yeah, it was very
Mothership.
anti-woke.
So-
yeah.
We're going. I think tonight after the show, a buddy of mine I went to high school with ends up. He's a manager at Vulcan.
Yeah.
He's taking me over to the mothership.
Yeah.
So I don't know who I might bump into there.
Yeah,
but
there's always everybody's always there. They've got they're trying to replicate the store.
I think Ron White lives there.
Yeah,
really, I
He's
know
He's
him
there
at
all
least.
the time. He's there all the time.
he lives in the basement. You can hear him calling.
He's the first. He's the first dude I smoked weed with.
Oh,
Nice.
that's awesome.
I'll have to remind him of that because here was my thoughts. I was full. I might have been 3 years into comedy. All of my money was coming from comedy. And when Ron White, we were at a Mexican or Tex-Mex restaurant sitting out on the patio, he just breaks a glass pipe out of his pocket, a bag of weed,
Some crack.
basically just squeezes a nug and pushes it down into the pipe and lights it at the dinner table and then passes it to me. And I'm
Like
thinking,
Chappelle.
if Willie Nelson,
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg, or
Ron White's
Hell
up
yeah.
Ron
there.
White, yeah.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm
The
smoking
Mount
today.
Rushmore
I
of
took
weed.
an
Yeah.
itty bitty hit, passed it on, and the world became hilarious. The
Yeah.
funniest it had ever been. In
Yeah.
under 30 to 45 seconds,
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't hold it together how funny things were. I took my chair, I moved it to the corner of the patio, and I just sat there and laughed by myself for about a half hour, sorting my life out. And when I came back, they were all making fun of me. But I know he'll remember that. If I see him, he'll remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, you were. I remember back whenever we were doing the open mic or the wide open, and I was like, "You're a sober comedian.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you were just all not a substance at all, right?
Don't drink at all. Don't smoke at all.
Yeah.
It's great
I-
formula for going on the road because you don't fall. Into
Yeah,
these
I did.
traps.
I did smoke. Now it's kind of. I work cruise ships. They can randomly test us, and so to me, it isn't worth putting the money that I can make out there on ships at risk just to feel goofy.
Right.
So if I do smoke, it's clearly a month ahead of when I have my next ship date.
What are the accommodations? Do you get a normal room like everybody else, or do they give you?
Yeah,
the
you get
super
guest rooms.
Okay.
Yeah, on I'll talk shit about Carnival a little bit. The floating Walmart. It's, they put you in a custodian closet with no window, and it's a twin bed and a 12-inch TV, and
yikes.
And then you got to
wear
wear
internet on those things. On the boats?
Yeah, but it's not great. It's not great on any ship. I just did an MSC, and there I could download like podcasts and movies on Netflix, like strong Wi-Fi, which begs the question, why MSC, one of the smallest cruise ship company, they have the best Wi-Fi technology. Why can't some of the more baller, I don't know, Princess and Celebrity and NCL, and it just crawls. It just you're just waiting for.
So you bring books.
Just got to the Bahamas, and you're waiting for that little line to post for like 10 minutes. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Man.
What do you do on the shitter if you can't fuck with your phone?
Yeah.
Just take a shit only. Like a
My
child.
legs are numb for nothing. What's the payoff here? But no, I love cruise ships, man. That's definitely an interesting change of pace. But yeah, no. Don't drink. Don't do drugs. Weed. The very first time I ever tried it was when I was 33, and now it's not. I think if you're an adult and nobody is collecting your piss, you should smoke weed in the evening. It's a lot easier on your body than wine or beer or any of that other stuff.
Yeah, I remember back whenever you were here, I would always look at man, Stringer's like stage goals, because I always needed that beer or two lubrication to get up on to do my stuff on stage.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I was like, I need to be able to just jump up there and do it the way Stringer does it.
But think about it. You know how I kind of open up with something physical, or
right.
That was to help me get my nerves in check, and it was also accelerating the greeting with the audience, because an audience takes 5 or 10 minutes to decide if they like you.
Right.
So if I do a stupid little dance and make a fool of myself right up top, we're all good. Like, it just takes that 5 minutes and shortens it to 45 seconds. And like, all right, he's a fool. Let's have fun.
So the good thing about Rogan and all these people coming here and doing turning Austin comedy huge is that the scene's not run by dumb hipsters anymore. Like people that you know how long it took me to get ready to look like I didn't take very long to get ready. All these pretentious.
That's super funny.
Like this, I'm tired of it. And one of the things that kind of was a good illustration of it.
It's not all good, but I am happy to see people who know how it's done here running it, because I felt like back when we were just getting started, Austin's comedy politics, it was like a bad game of telephone. Yeah. It's like they heard from their buddy in LA how they form cliques. Yeah. And they did that here, and who should be the gatekeepers, and who should be ousted. And yeah. I certainly did my things to rub people the wrong way, for sure. But I also feel like I apologized and explained, like, hey, I didn't know anybody, and I was just trying to make some friends at first. Like, my lies were in the first 6 months, and I feel like I've spent the rest of my career apologizing.
I was trying to milk you. I saw you at Cap City. I was like, that boy's got energy, and I need help. I can't do all this work at this thing.
Dude, I loved working. Yeah. I loved running our open mic. That was a blast. But I also, anytime I took my foot off the throttle, I advertised, I made flyers, I made sure that everyone was posted, their social media was present. Yeah. And
videos of Peasy sleeping behind himself.
Yep. But I would take 1 week off. I'd just be like, this week, I'm going to take these 18 to 20 people that are on the open mic, and I'm going to see if they will distribute the graphic I provided a week in advance. No, they wouldn't. No. Nobody would show up. And then that's when I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Because it's just one person always being the driving force to get it. Not that you didn't. We did.
No, being a hipster and having a scene and running a scene and all that stuff is so, it feels lame the older you get. Where I don't have time to get ready. Getting ready for a long time is for girls. I've flip-flops.
If I do my hair, there better be money at the end of that rainbow. Yeah, for real.
You have to be in a scene to meet a girl who's into the same shit or whatever, but that doesn't work out either. My last relationship before I got married, the girl liked the exact same music as me, and that relationship was not good. The only thing we didn't fight about was the music in the car. Everything else was fucking chaos.
That's funny.
It was nice to listen to the same music, but that's the standard in high school. Like, I want to find a goth chick because I'm a goth guy. they're not going to get married. That's not going to work.
No.
So you need more in common than that.
You guys both peaked in high school together.
I'm going to be in the scene and run the scene. But my favorite illustration of that was we're watching Alone, the Survivor show. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
It's 100 Days,
Love
whatever.
it. Yeah,
There's a British one. The British one has swearsies and
They have an
nudies.
Australian one too.
Yeah, there's butts and swears.
Yeah.
And they said, this guy, whatever, has become disorientated. And I was like, that's not a word. And my wife was like, yeah, it is. We've had this fight before. And we looked it up. English, American, goddamn English, it's disoriented.
Yeah.
British is disorientated.
It's aluminium.
Yep.
Yeah.
They
Aluminum,
add a bunch of extra
aluminum,
dumb shit
yep.
to look cool.
Yeah.
Look
It
how
does.
smart we are. We're from Worcester.
I'm buying it. They do look
Yeah.
cool. Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, James May. I could listen to them teach me the entire world, and really, their specifics are in cars. I just love.
Yeah.
I love that whole culture, and they don't take themselves too seriously. My favorite comedians. Here's my thing about the whole PC thing. Just to backtrack a little bit.
Right.
Alan Carr, David Carr, Ricky Gervais, Jim Jeffries, they say things that are so offensive and so outdated,
Yeah.
and they're funny because they're really well done.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I don't care how offensive your joke is. If I see the attempt and the intention that I spent time, the words count, the weight of this, I want it to work, I will laugh at some shit that definitely was probably, finished in the 90s. Like, we don't talk about that anymore. But if I hear it said the right way, I'm like, fuck, that's good.
You can get kids to laugh. The same kids that get pissed about all that shit, you can get them going over some Chinese penis
Yes.
stuff or
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of that is there's a Twitter persona, and then there's a sitting on your couch with your friends persona.
Yes.
So a lot of that is Twitter persona. Is the other. So that's been my whole thing. Is that this all happened. We're having this conversation because we let everybody on the internet.
Yeah.
Which is kind of my fault because I was one of the people who did that.
the
I
Tower of
helped
Babel.
everyone get on the internet. Yeah.
You all deserve this. Oh, shit. Maybe
Yeah.
not all of you.
Yeah. So, and that's just the part. What do you call it? Part and parcel of like putting human nature accessible to globally. An individual person has now global access, and the entire globe can see him. That is kind of what comes from, and this is something we're going to figure out, I guess.
Oh yeah, we don't know what the long-term effects of this
Either
are
that, or
just yet.
we all die from climate change. But one of the two things is going to happen. We'll figure this out.
Yes.
Right. I don't think this is going to launch nukes, although the epitome of it got elected president, and he can launch the nukes. So I don't
maybe
know.
that was
I
the
don't know.
apex.
We'll
Maybe
see.
that was the
Yeah.
climax, and maybe it'll go back
Right.
down from there. My favorite thing about the recent Alone episode, If Britain, was it was a girl, and she was like, "Oh no, I've gotten my period," and I was like, "Oh shit." All the shit I've been making fun of women for like needing civilization, and we used to make them go live in the river when they're on their period, but now they have plumbing and they can go vote and everything. She's in the middle of nowhere, and she had to bring period panties, and I felt bad for her. I was like, that's not a good situation for a lady alone. I mean, that's why they want
Don't
guys.
they have diva cups?
They have all kinds of stuff. I don't know if you can only bring 10 tools or whatever.
Yeah, but I just want to. I would think that a female-specific hygiene product like a diva cup, which just we're talking about something that's definitely out of our scope. But I did that bicycle ride to Alaska, and most of the females on our ride were using diva cups instead of having to use your traditional products of pads or
Take
tampons.
it out and tie it to a rock and throw it in the water so the bears don't come.
Precisely. So
know what?
I would believe that they would go that route because it's reusable. You can literally rinse it.
And I seem to remember in the past 6 months reading about Alone and reading something saying those are provided outside of the 10 things.
That's what I would assume. Yeah.
Right.
And if anything, it gives them an advantage because now you're getting a shot of blood for. And who? So stupid. That is 5-year-old humor. Brought it back. Let's do it.
It's calories, man.
I found a picture online of this man, Mihailo Totolos. He was a monk who had never seen a woman in his life. He'd only read about them, which I'm sure is horrifying if you've never seen one. It sounds like a nightmare because the stuff that's written about women is not always nice.
No.
And if you just hear about it and you don't see the curves, you're like, that's a monster. I'm afraid. He lived his whole life and never
Your
saw.
face so soft and wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't see a single pore or
Trying to
wrinkle.
tempt
You're
me.
a witch.
Yeah, so he lived and died and never was around anyway. We have some backlash online for being shitting on girls and being mean to girls.
I was gonna say that monk definitely had a Batman poster hanging in his monk cave. He was able to do it, and no one asked him to take it down. Good for you.
We're not actually being mean to girls. We're actually celebrating gay culture because gay dudes love to be rude to bitches and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that true?
So it's just a celebration. It's actually a celebration of women because
Is
they
bitches-
love being talked about.
Is bitches a part of your vocabulary normally, or did you just start rapping?
No, it's fine. They,
It's fine.
my wife and I hang around with the dog, and she's like, "Look, you've got both of your bitches here." So it's kind of got normalized in my life.
So you feel like you've gotten the nod of
I don't
approval.
call her the
You got
C
the wife
word.
pass,
There's
yeah.
worse words than bitch.
Oh, for sure.
You are what you eat. But so yeah, we're not being mean. We're actually celebrating women's culture because they love it when people talk about them. That's their fantasy. Everyone's always talking about me, so that's what they want. That's what they get. Rob Deerdeck got in trouble. This is a guy my parents told me when I was little. What are you skateboarding for? You're never going to do anything. And this guy's a fucking jillionaire. He got in trouble for firing a pregnant woman. I was telling my wife that story, that my parents said, don't skate. You won't make any money. And I was like, Rob Deerdeck's a billionaire. She was like, he just got in trouble for firing a pregnant woman. And I was like, you can't fire pregnant women? She was like, no. And I was like, must be nice. 9 months, just
9 months of job security.
Teflon.
Yeah.
You can do whatever the fuck
Yeah,
you want.
yeah.
Guys don't have that. That's awesome. And she was like, oh, please.
I couldn't get those reports in.
Are there Lime scooters everywhere else besides Austin? Have you seen them cropping up?
Yeah, everywhere.
I
Up in Canada, everywhere.
You can see two drunk girls getting on them. They always fall.
Time out. Have you ever spent the evening with no plans, nowhere to be, just fucking around on those scooters?
No.
It is a blast.
I'm not allowed to go that
It
fast.
looks fun.
At night,
Yeah.
they stop cars from getting near the Capitol,
Uh-huh.
Capitol building, and there's a network of roads and asphalt and wide sidewalks, and the security guards don't mind if you just go use it like a racetrack at night.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is so awesome. So though I hate them and they are just battery-powered litter in most places, and you find them in the creeks and in the trees, and people
Nope.
really
People have been
hate
throwing
them.
them in Town Lake. Yeah.
My
That's how we
wife
got
and I,
brain-eating
we were in
fungus.
San Antonio, and the city just felt like it was ours. Like we just kept finding these big, wide open, like stadium parking lots, and then all the ramps that lead
sounds
around.
right, yeah.
It's
Oh,
a
that sounds
fucking
cool.
yeah, we didn't have plans. We weren't like, hey, you want to go grab ice cream? Yeah, we'll just rent these and we'll go. No, we each got our own. And we kept getting on new ones, hoping we'd get slightly faster ones because some are a little newer, some have a little bit of a better charge.
Yeah.
We were having a blast. I believe she fell once. Like I mean,
You've skateboarded, so you know how to lift your
yeah.
weight when you hit a curb,
Of course.
or a driveway.
Yeah, yeah.
You see a lot of people that don't know how to
Eat
do the little
shit.
hoppy
They-
hop.
Yeah.
And they just
love it.
don't. You're gonna hit your head and be retarded. Well,
So
you're
they're
already retarded because
Those
you put
are
two people in
annoying,
there.
but I would urge you. I would even say make it a thing that you're doing. Go rent a couple that look
Yeah.
decently fresh, and just go downtown. Go to empty. You remember I used to longboard and
Yeah,
skateboard.
yeah.
I used to
You had a
bomb
rack. You had a
empty
good,
car
quiver of
garages.
Boards in your garage.
Yeah,
You
but
had 5
parking
or 6
garages
of
are empty at night. All the state-owned ones are. They empty them out and they close that little arm, and then you can start at the top and just slalom your way down. It's a blast
them.
and
You
a
can
half.
play elevator action with the security guard.
Do you remember when we got stuck in an elevator? Were you in that?
No.
Oh, we got stuck in an elevator. It was me and a bunch of grown men
Yeah.
bombing this one parking
Yeah.
garage. We got stuck in an elevator. Our phones were still working. We called fire. The fire department came. We weren't supposed to be in this parking garage. They pry it open. We're half a level down, so they're helping us up
There was
and
one
out
less
of the
guy
elevator.
because y'all
It's
had
like
to eat them.
it's like 12 grown men holding skateboards, and we all have helmets on. And it's like, yeah, we know better. We know better. The oldest guy's in his 50s, the youngest guy's in his teens, and we're all getting helped out. And what's so funny is that teenager you that wants to run from authority,
Yeah.
it lives and breathes today. It's as strong as it ever was. Because the minute they would help us out, as grown men, we'd look at them and go, I really appreciate you guys. And then we'd sprint away before we got ticketed.
I wanna
or
see
you
that
don't want
pa-
that
I wanna
ticket.
see that
Exactly.
paperwork.
We became 7 again. Like,
Cops hate paperwork. You can imagine what they wrote up after saving all y'all from that
Yeah.
elevator. That's why I don't
fucking
have
jackasses.
guns in my house, because I'd rather if somebody comes in, hog tie them, put them in the closet, put a corn cob up their ass, put on music, put makeup on them, make the children scream.
Yeah.
Then the cops come and they have to write all that down.
That's
We found the guy quivering in the corner. Please, no more Peter, Paul, and Mary.
That exact act you described, it's called the Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just a neat note for your podcast.
Holdo maneuvers. Bros before hoes is like a big rule.
Yeah.
But if you get cock blocked, that's reason to end friendships.
Yeah.
Like, it's a kind of a double standard.
Yeah.
I
That's
got
a good
cock
point.
blocked out of a threesome and moved here from Florida because I didn't want to be around my roommate anymore. I was like, fuck this guy, fuck Florida.
Do you realize what you've taken from
He
me?
came home. I had 2 girls in the bed. He
Look
took
at me.
one.
I'll never have another shot.
Yeah, this was it.
You're so
And you
selfish.
fucked it.
I thought you were going to say your wife was a cock blocker. Had this one shot at a threesome.
My wife
blocking
keeps cock
She's
blocking
like,
me.
We're married. You have children with me.
Cramping my style.
Keep bringing up all that not hot shit.
Problems are making my dick soft. So prostitution is the crack cocaine of having a girlfriend. It's distilled down to its like purest form of like, you just take a quick hit and it's cheaper. It's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I get your concept. Yeah, that's good.
High concentrate distillate.
No more bullshit. You get the only part you like out of it.
Right.
If Bob Barker can't get 100, then neither can the temperature here. We finally had a drop. It was 100 for years. It seemed like it was 1,000 degrees.
Yeah, did you spend much of this summer at home, or have you been out and about? Or
So I changed. You need an agent to get onto cruise ships. I book everything else myself, but I switched agents, not because I didn't like my old agent. It's just he only had access to Norwegian, Holland, and Carnival. And I had been on all of those ships several times. I want to get up to the luxury. I want to get up to some of these. There are ships that go around the continent of Africa, and you can participate in safaris and shit like that. I want to get on those boats. And
I want
pay
them
for
to
all
put you
those
on an AI
excursions.
boat and give you the captain's quarters.
That's what I
'Cause
want.
They don't have a
And
captain anymore.
I don't ask a lot. Is what I'm telling you.
A simple man.
But so I amicably parted ways with the old agent, found a new agent. They have access to all the ships in the world. But when you sign on with a new agent, all cruise ships, just as a standard practice, they'll put you on a shelf for an undisclosed amount of time. Because if you part with an agent, they assume it's a you problem, not the agency problem. But it was amicable.
Yeah.
So they can shelf you for 3 months, 6 months, a year. So there was definitely a thinning out of my gigs and
Make
how
sure they
often
put you
and
on
how
the
frequent.
smiley face
Fuck,
shelf.
we were running thin. That's why my wife, now she works at Wichita State. But she jumped in, got a job, extremely awesome of her, and she's great at what she does. But then my gig started picking up, so now we are 2 incomes, no kids.
Nice.
Like, yeah.
Dink.
And yeah.
just a couple of dinks.
Did you hear
Yeah.
about the India?
That's also a racial slur.
Yeah.
That's something we shouldn't say. I know people turned it into something else. Maybe me digging my heels in and pointing out that it's a racial slur is the opposite of what I intend it to be.
Yeah.
We're trying to bury it, John. We're trying to move on with the new, and I'm trying to define it as old.
Right.
Fuck me. Hey,
No.
canceled. All right, I took care of it.
We have
Sorry.
ginks. We call everybody ginks. Whatever the most
so
offensive
I-
thing you can think of, we just say gink instead.
What's that?
The AI that cancel us out of stuff that we don't even know what they are.
So I
Offended
was
women that make people not do stuff.
I wanted to do
Skinks.
the aloha of offensiveness, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to basically come up with a 4-letter word that if you call somebody that word, it means the worst thing for whatever they think, right?
Yeah.
So if you call any type of person this word, it's just I'm saying the worst thing that you are, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, the word gink sounds like it's
It's
gink.
skirting the edge.
Yeah.
Fucking gink.
You feel it.
You gink.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in there
Right.
somewhere.
Yeah.
I like Polak. I miss Polak. People used to
Polak's
just call
just
each other
good.
Polak when you're dumb. What are you, a Polak?
I wish there were some truly offensive Caucasian slurs because I haven't heard one that really like got me.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Sue everybody?
Yeah. Cracker just never did it for
Shall
me.
not covet thy neighbor's manservant.
Yes.
This must be nice.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the India moon landing?
Yes.
There's 1 small step for men and 0 steps for women ever. And don't drive and cover your face, whore. You ever wonder if there's a jihad that was like
How does a hijab fit under a helmet?
I don't know.
Yeah. And I love that the whole premise of this is that you're mixing up Indians and Arabs.
Yeah.
Oh, I fucked up. I'm so stupid.
It started with the.
You think
It
there
started
was
with the
ever-
women can't drive. Like, no, women can drive in India. It's Saudi Arabia where women can't drive.
Oh, I'm sorry, gang.
You're mixing up the brown people.
If only there were like some way to search these facts. Don't. That'll happen
Do
someday.
you think there's ever a terrorist that was like an accidental Pavarotti? Like he was waving an AK in the air and he was like, la 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 la. Oh my God, this guy's a virtuoso by accident just from yelling. La 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 la.
That voice.
We have to take him to Italy to learn the trade. Yeah.
The drones above are like clear. Oh no, don't kill that guy. He's America's genius.
He
now.
has potential.
He's the top talent.
All right, let's take one more break, and we'll be right back.
That's
The
called
new
a
check stop. Instead of Waco, we got one in South Austin.
Check yourself.
All right, we're back with Jon Stringer.
I was in a meeting at work and they said, "Does anybody need a bio break?" And I was like, "That is the dumbest shit." I do. I have to shit. Correct, but they don't. They're not allowed to say, whatever now. Bathroom.
Oh, I've been hearing bio break for a long time, and now that you bring it up,
It's my
it
first
is,
time hearing it.
Yeah.
Oh no, I've been hearing it for I guess in like especially working in like customer support
Sounds like
and
a
all that.
weapon.
There's the kind of one of those. Oh, you have to count for people having to pee because of how horrible tech support is.
Yeah.
And I've been hearing bio break for years.
Sounds like a
Was that
weapon.
the first time you heard bio break?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a consultant from outside of the corporation. Does
Oh,
anyone,
okay.
if anyone needs the bio break, you can go ahead. And I was like, "Ooh, that's cool. I'm a mutant." Bio things. So Danny Masterson got busted finally after his religion helped him rape people for decades.
Yeah, he got sent 30 years or something for Danny Masterson.
They
Oh.
tried to tell him what to do on the '70s show. They were like, "Hey, hide. That's your name. Go hide. Do a Polanski. Go to Paris. Go to France. Go to somewhere where they can't get you. Go hide." He should have taken their advice.
Couldn't Scientology have just gotten him away? They could have done a David Muscovich's wife on him, just disappear him.
Now he's in prison. Apparently, they locked down all the Texas prison system last week, also due to statewide combating illegal drugs and inmate violence.
What?
They released some statement that said all the Texas state prisons are on lockdown, which I was under the impression that prisons were already locked pretty well.
It's way less open
I'm not
door
happy to
now.
know that they could be any more locked. I'd rather them be fully locked 100%
Yeah.
previously.
Right.
Why are we locking prisons more? I was you ever watch cable? You ever get to watch cable at your parents' house and channel surf anymore?
Yeah, I mean, you still have like
the only place
YouTube or whatever,
anybody-
YouTube TV or Sling or whatever. Yeah.
I was going through the channels looking for something to watch, and there was a show called Teen Tit, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna put that on, but I wonder how that's on cartoon. It was Teen Titans. I was cut off because it was so it just said Teen Tit, and I was like, you can't do that on television.
That's super funny.
We've
Definitely
been
on a watch list now.
We've been shopping at different places because there's a bunch of homeless at our HEB now. So we go to the one in Circle C.
Well, Circle C one's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the C is for cunty.
Yeah.
Circle C is very fancy. There's no homeless or nothing over there.
Their chief export is Karen's.
Yeah. That's where they all come from in Austin. Yeah.
The C is for Karen, maybe. Christina.
That's funny.
There's Nazis now running around in Florida where I used to live because it's cool to emulate a warlord now. So I think everyone should do that for their old, Germans are like, hey, we had a cool warlord. Let's go back to that time. So maybe all the Asians can be like, we're Mongols now, and it's Genghis Khan times, and we're going to take over the world. Maybe all the Christians can start another crusade. We can all just go back to the cool time when we were murdering everybody because apparently the Nazis think.
I'm like 98% Irish English, so I'll just go
Nice.
back to being sickly. We've got the weakest immune systems of all the humans.
It's like you're coughing while you're raking some hay.
Yep.
That's like what your genes are made for, to be
we're gonna-
coughing.
My people used to have famines and die, so we're going to do that again.
Irish or Scottish?
Irish.
Irish.
No,
yeah.
it's your people. I'm Jewish, so I'm going to go back to complaining still forever about everything and being perpetually moist
Yeah.
And you've been complaining about the air.
Yeah.
You're known for your dewiness.
Yeah, Jews are always complaining about the moisture in the air. Ugh.
Are you really Jewish?
I'm an eighth Jewish, so it's the last one in my line.
So you really pushed that eighth.
talk
You really,
shit, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
my kids can't say nothing about it because they're
Jewy
16th.
and Dewey.
But it is on your mom's side, right?
Yeah, my mom's mom has a tattoo.
Well, there you go. That is the definition of Jewish. It's like if your mother is Jewish and her mother's Jewish
Yeah.
and her mother's Jewish. So
I had a guy in a networking group invite me to the synagogue. When I told him I was an eighth Jewish. Your mother? Yeah, you should come to synagogue. It's a great place to network. I was like, didn't Jesus like turn the tables over and say stop selling shit in church? Isn't it like the number one thing that made him mad? And he gave me this blank look, and I was like, oh yeah, they don't have that in the Quran. And he was like, the Torah? And I was like, fuck, I'm not doing very well. This networking group is not going very well at all. I'm not going to get
Fine,
any
I'm not a
leads.
good Rastafarian.
yeah. It's like you're a traitor to your Jewishness.
Where is your Judaism? So I think the state of the world is kind of self-perpetuating people to act like psychos to each other in public. You know, you watch the news, you get mad, you yell at your neighbor on the road for driving. They need a calm bomb. I think they just should put weed in the water, which is going to be the new spiritual. Weed in the water. Everybody calm down. Everybody needs to... Or they could put shrooms in the water, probably. That's the Brogan's idea. Everyone has to do shrooms.
Shit. If everybody microdosed, we do away with war.
I saw a guy complaining about speed bumps they put in his neighborhood. He said, every night I go for a stroll, and if there's cars on the sidewalk, I'm in a rascal, and I can't get over this. I have searing pain, and I'm paralyzed from the waist down. So I can't take my evening stroll in my rascal because of the speed bumps. And I was like, that's not a stroll. You're not strolling.
You can't take a roll.
Some extra letters on there. That's a
yeah,
roll.
Yeah. That's funny.
If you have somebody pushing you, it's probably more of a stroll because it's like you're in a stroller.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm
Can't
a
take
baby.
my stroller.
I need to levitate me over. Professor X with his levitating chair could go.
Oh, that reminds me, John. Okay, the one thing that at some point, whenever you're just like on your phone surfing like videos, YouTube, want something to watch, Google Mobility Mary.
Okay.
So what it was is there was this lady who was in a scooter, and she treated it like it was a car, and she was like basically an old Karen, and she had a mounted camera on it, and she would upload it to you. Look how horrible things are for a person in a scooter.
Does she really need the scooter, or is it a prank?
That's the question.
Okay.
Like, is she
scooter people,
right? Is
they're
she
wild.
one of those people who she doesn't really need to be in a scooter?
You can't say retarded anymore, but you can still say scooter people.
You can say scooter people. No, because the fucking thing. Hear me out.
Cyborgs.
I'm on cruise ships a lot, and there's not a lot of space to walk in the first place,
No.
and you have it's a fucking scooter gang. There's like 3 dozen delinquents.
You go to the
running
bow,
over
I'll go to the
toes,
stern.
Never apologize. They pull into the elevators like it's their own private garage and nobody else can join them.
Right.
And then you see them up at the buffet. They don't even have the decency to be handicapped. They jump to their feet and help themselves to a
Nice.
mammoth
Okay.
collection of macaroni and cheese. And in my head, I'm just like, we got to fight. Like, all this pain you're causing me, and you can get around just fine. You hopped up when you saw that chicken fried steak hit the line, so what the fuck's your issue?
So Wall-E person.
Why don't you stroll on out of here with your stroll?
Hilarious.
Oh man.
So maybe I'm canceled. Yeah, some people really need them. Some people are complete pieces of shit.
I have a gay buddy at work, and he told me that he came out to his mom, and she did the whole, I always knew thing. And he was like, I wish you would have told me.
Yeah.
I've been struggling with this for like a decade. My mom knew the whole time and didn't help me out.
All those adolescent years of what's wrong with me. Like the answer was right there. My mom could have told me the whole
Information
time.
that would have been valuable yesterday. Did you notice how eating ass picked up with millennials recently? They're all about eating ass.
Where are you getting this information?
I just hear about it more recently than I ever did before. I think it was during
Everybody
COVID.
likes cake.
It was during COVID because nobody could smell or taste. So they all started eating each other's ass.
That's funny.
They could probably see it in like the algorithms and the
Yeah,
trends,
who
right?
cares?
I
Yeah.
always said like they said dudes with beards, we have like fecal particulate or in our
All the
beard.
stuff that's in your
And I'm
beard,
like,
yeah.
you know how that gets there? From putting our mouths near genitalia. That's what men with beards get to do very fucking often.
Fucking Bushmaster.
Jealous.
Yeah.
It's called the Velcro effect.
Go get
You
your own
can't
face
get out of
pubes,
there because it's all
exactly.
stuck
Yeah.
together. I went to Buffet Palace recently over there,
Yeah, you were telling me about that the other night.
and I had to telework from the toilet the next day.
That's
They were
funny.
trying to like have meetings with me, and I was like, I'll be on text. I can't be on video. This place has gotten worse. You remember Westgate, the
Yeah.
Buffet Palace next
Yeah.
to it? It used to be a fancy afternoon. You go to
Oh,
Central
yeah.
Market, the movie, have a buffet. It was the nice area,
It
sort
is.
of south.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was possible for Chinese buffet to drop in quality as dramatically as it has.
Prices have gone up, but I bet their price
It's the
for
same
the buffet is the same. Okay.
depressed spectrum guy in the back cooking.
So
the
you're
same
eating
chicken.
particle board breaded.
Speaking of fecal particulates in your beard, it was a nightmare. And then the whole rest of the day, my wife was like, "You go sleep in the other room. Your smell is so bad." I was like, "You farting too, but honey? Hey, we're all farting together."
Was that just a way for you to brag that you have an extra room that isn't being used?
No, my kid likes to sleep in the living room, so I just take his room.
That's
It's my Xbox room.
That's great. No, don't make me go there.
So Russell Brand got in trouble, finally. Well, he's between 2008 and 2016, he was mistreating women apparently with his rock star energy, and since then, 2016 was when Me Too started. So for the last 6 years, he's been like, "Oh fuck, I know nobody finds out about these rapes."
Rapes.
Yeah.
I did not know. I really appreciated his consciousness, but fuck him, yeah, that's awful.
Those he got big in like the mid 2000s, right? And he was like, free love, sex, you know, and all that. Feels like one of those Led Zeppelin couldn't exist now kind of situations where it's like if you do what they did now, you're gone.
It's like if a girl's Me Too Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails and was like, he said he wanted to fuck me like an animal and feel me from the inside, and that my whole existence was void. Just all the lyrics from his songs, and they were shocked that he was behaving that way.
She's well dressed.
I can't believe Marilyn Manson put me in a cage and whipped me. He's never behaved that way before.
Yeah. So Russell
shocked.
Brand is like what would Austin Powers be like in real life, right? So there's someone
Modern Austin
someone came.
Powers.
There's an actual rape. Like yes, he raped me, and then there's I was 16 years old, and he
groomed and
he called me the little girl and all that, and then there's he pinned me in a corner, and there's been a few of those on Russell Brand. Just like in the past couple of days. And, of course, he got out in front of it, posted a video saying, "There's horrible allegations. I deny all of them." So
Plus, he hasn't been famous for a while. It seemed like. I mean,
No,
he's
he-
internet
well,
famous
he's-
or something.
no, he's got
He's
a
like
podcast.
Chelsea Handler of Europe. Like
Yeah.
he just meanders in that middle space. But
Yeah.
no movies, nothing as of late.
He's
But he's a star for sure.
yeah. Well, and in the past, since COVID, he's basically gone the whole anti-vax. They're going to,
But one of his charges was emotional abuse, which
That happened to Jonah Hill.
I'm just going to get ahead of this now. I've been mean to women before. Girlfriends, my sister, mom. I'm sorry, everyone. I've also been mean to dudes. Everybody gets to be mean to them.
yeah.
It's part of the fun of being a comedian. Is being a dick is fun. You can sometimes you make somebody learn something or think or laugh.
Yeah.
It's good at getting your points across.
Is this what you're going to say to the judge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got your defense.
Josh
I'm gonna
is
pull
getting
this
in
clip.
front of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull this clip and put it everywhere.
Yeah.
Just in
Your
case.
Honor, just watch this. Or listen.
There's a Van Halen book about how they had a trap door on the stage with a tent under it, and
Yeah.
they had the roadie go pick girls out and go. They have a tent under the stage. As soon as there's a guitar solo, David Lee Roth is going to take you into the trap door, and they were like, "Yes, please." They're groupies, so they're. Hopefully, they don't come back and say these men mistreated me, because a lot of them went to go get mistreated, please.
Yeah.
Well,
for
Steven
funsies.
Tyler has that, but Steven Tyler had like a 17-year-old girl with him that her parents let her take him on tour with her.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
She turned 18 on the tour.
I just want everybody. There's crazy stories about all these people that are way crazier.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle said it best when he was on, I think it was one of his SNL monologues where he's like, I'm glad Me Too movement is out there. I think it's necessary. I know I haven't done anything. I hope. We haven't found out yet.
I don't remember any of it. So JonStringer.com. We're going to be at the Vulcan tonight.
That's right. Vulcan Gas Company tonight. It's myself, Patrick Soroyce. You might know of Josh Woodyard, and then Tammy Bernal. So nice little lineup. Get to see Josh stretch his long legs on stage.
My
See
penis.
how that
I'm going to
goes.
stretch my penis. I'm going to make a skin watch. I'm going to do some Jewish stuff.
You had to
Some
make
Jewish
it
tricks.
weird. You just No, man. Yeah, I'm glad to be back here for sure. Now I'm just realizing right now I haven't had caffeine at all today, and I'm so excited about finding coffee. I'm gonna go get some of the strongest caffeine this world
We've
has
been
to offer.
texting for a decade when you're on these ships and I'm raising these kids. Like, can't wait to see you whenever you're back in town.
I'm so happy to be back in town.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to see you guys again. It's like and you haven't changed, and I'm glad you're back in. Are you doing stand up at all?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
Whenever we were doing all our stuff in 2011, I started doing a podcast called Drunkcast.
Okay.
And so I got way into the whole podcasting. And then I think at one point I was trying to get them to get you on, because we had Josh on, right?
a couple times.
And so I did that for 2 or 3 years.
Jimmy Preston on there. A bunch of people came
Oh, I
on
love Jimmy Preston.
And then
That's a beard.
there. Man beard. It's more beard than man. Twisted and
great.
evil.
and then we got way into. So we had.
South by.
I'd love
had
for
a
this to
showcase.
take a weird turn. Then we got way into
BDSM,
tantric sex.
yeah.
and-
Pies and piss and shices.
Really a lot of after you guys had kind of done your own thing, we got way into the Austin comedy scene. Like Martin Urbano was on there, and then he moved to New York and was on Jimmy Kimmel 3 weeks later. It's one of
Yeah,
those.
yeah,
So I kind of stopped the stage stuff and started doing the podcasting.
Oh, okay. Makes
So,
sense.
yeah.
But we got to get you going. We got to get you ready. I have to wax your arms
It's
for you.
almost
right?
5.
We're gonna
Well,
wax
so yeah, no, I'll wait until we wrap this up, and then I'll probably have. I don't even know if I can make it to my sister's house on time, so I might find a shower closer than out there.
So you're at Jon Stringer,
JonStringer.com.
JonStringer.com.
Oh, you're talking about on
Just
Instagram.
all of your any social
Instagram
things.
is JONJ Stringer, so John J Stringer, and that's also true for Twitter. And then I'm not really on TikTok. I just go there to watch people, and that's it. But yeah, no, I've got some material coming out next year. I have lots of clips. I will take my career more seriously and announce that I've been doing this for 12 years.
Okay.
I turned 42 on Tuesday. And I don't know. Happy to spend my pre-birthday fun in a place I'm familiar with people I haven't seen in forever.
It's been very exciting to watch.
Has it been
you
a decade?
work the
Yeah.
globe?
Yeah.
That's just stupid.
We've just been watching you travel.
Oh man, it's been a blast.
Just like
but-
our rich parents.
Yeah.
Watching
Yeah.
travel around the world. Are you having fun?
Well, thanks for coming out.
Thank you for
and
having me, guys.
We will talk to you later.
Yes, sir.